What is true self-improvement? Self-improvement isn't just about waking up early, being more productive, or completing a to-do list. It goes much deeper. It's about internal transformation. It's about rebuilding your mind, strengthening your character, and living with purpose even when no one's looking. Have you ever tried to change but given up because your motivation waned? Have you ever tried hard but gotten lost in the chaos of everyday life? If so, you don't need any more tips. You need a practical, solid system to truly evolve. Stoicism, used by minds like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca, isn't theoretical philosophy. It's a timeless guide to self-improvement. It teaches you how to act with courage, maintain clarity in the face of adversity, and live with integrity. Not for applause, but out of duty. In this video you'll discover the principles, practices, and routines that transform who you are on the inside. It doesn't promise quick changes, but real, lasting, unwavering evolution. If you're tired of starting and giving up, if you want to stop reacting to the world and start acting with purpose, watch until the end. This is the guide you needed, but it only works if you decide to apply it. The foundation. Stoic self-knowledge. True self-improvement doesn't begin with productivity, discipline, or routines. It begins with self-knowledge, and Stoicism is clear: you can't govern your life if you don't know yourself. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful emperor in the world, didn't start his day with spreadsheets or goals. He began with a question: who do I want to be today? He knew that before acting in the world, he needed to understand his mind. And that's exactly where the Stoic path begins, in daily self-examination. The Stoic doesn't live on autopilot. He observes himself, he reflects, he questions, because only those who know their judgments, reactions, and values can change with clarity. The central practice is philosophical writing, not as an emotional diary, but as a tool for self. Every day, upon waking or before going to sleep, the Stoic writes, not to justify himself, but to know himself. Powerful questions guide this process. What really matters to me? What is within my control? How have I reacted in the face of adversity? Am I acting with justice, courage, and moderation? Where have I gone astray? Where have I been faithful? These questions don't seek perfection, they seek honesty, and it is in this that growth is born. Epictetus taught, it is not things that disturb men, but their opinions about things. In other words, your problems are not out there, they are in your interpretation of them. And only those who know themselves can distinguish between emotional reaction and conscious action. You can apply this today. Grab a notebook and, at night, write, what did I do well today? Where could I have acted with more integrity? What have I learned? Don't judge. Just observe. See patterns. What destabilizes you? What strengthens you? Seneca did this every day. He said, live as if you were standing before yourself. In other words, don't act to impress. Act so that, when you look back, you can say, I did what was right. This practice is not self-help, it is self-mastery. It strengthens your conscience, corrects deviations, and accelerates self-improvement. Because you don't change what you don't know. And Stoicism begins where it all begins, within you. With a simple but powerful question: who am I? And, more importantly, who do I choose to be? Principle 1. Focus on what you control. The most powerful and liberating principle of Stoicism is this: learn to distinguish between what is within your control and what is not. According to Epictetus, one of the pillars of Stoicism, men are disturbed not by things, but by their opinions about things. And the greatest source of anxiety comes from the fact that we waste energy trying to control what is uncontrollable, while neglecting what is within our control. What is not within your control? What people think of you, the results of your actions, the past, the future, the decisions and reactions of others. Criticism, rejection, unforeseen events, these are real factors, but beyond your direct control. You can influence them but never fully control them. What is within your control? Your judgments and interpretations, your choices and decisions, your efforts and actions, your response to adversity, the way you choose to live your values. This is where your true power lies. When you internalize this distinction, something profound happens. Your mind calms. Anxiety diminishes because you stop fighting reality. Instead of worrying about what you can't change, you direct your energy toward what you can transform. Your choices and attitudes. You don't need to control the world to act. You just need to act with clarity. And that's where true strength comes from. Focusing on what's yours and letting go of the rest. Marcus Aurelius wrote, you have power over your mind, not over external events. Realize this and you will find strength. He ruled a collapsing empire, beset by betrayal, but maintained his composure because he knew where his power lay. This clarity is what restores focus. You stop being a drifting boat, pushed by the waves of opinions and results, and become the captain of your own ship. And that's exactly what this principle teaches. Don't get lost in what doesn't depend on you. Focus on what's yours, act with purpose, and let the rest go. Because true strength isn't in controlling the world, it's in not letting the world control you. Principle 2. Action greater than motivation. Motivation is volatile. It comes and goes with moods, the weather a good or bad day. And if you only act when you feel inspired, you'll spend your life putting off what really matters. Stoicism brings a powerful truth. Action doesn't follow motivation, it creates it. You don't need to feel ready to begin. You just need to begin. Marcus Aurelius didn't wait to wake up wanting to rule an empire. He did it out of duty, out of commitment to his role. He acted even when tired, even under pressure. And that's precisely what made him unshakable. The Stoics didn't believe in waiting for the right moment. They believed in starting now, with what they have as they are, because they knew that transformation doesn't begin with a heroic gesture, but with a small, courageous step. You don't need more time, more resources, or more inspiration. You just need 5 minutes. Write a sentence. Get out of bed. Make the difficult call. The important thing is to break inertia, because it's in the first movement that momentum is born. As Seneca said, it's not lack of time, it's lack of will that holds us back. But willpower doesn't arise out of nowhere. It is exercised through action, and that's why the Stoic doesn't ask, "Do I feel like it?" He asks, "What needs to be done?" And then, he does it. Because he knows, winning quietly doesn't depend on fleeting emotions, it depends on discipline, on action. Even when you don't want to, you can apply this. Today, don't wait to feel excited to get out of bed. Get up, don't wait for inspiration to write. Write a sentence. Don't wait for the right moment to change. Start now, with what you have. Small actions, repeated consistently. Build big changes. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. And that's exactly why action is more reliable than motivation. Because it doesn't wait, it transforms. It builds. It changes your life. Not with a single leap, but with daily steps taken courageously, even without desire. Because in the end, what changes everything is now how you feel. It's what you do now. Principle 3. Discipline is freedom. Most people see discipline as a prison, but Stoicism teaches the opposite. Discipline is freedom, because every habit you fulfill, every difficult choice you make, waking up early, studying, refusing a distraction, speaking the truth, is a step away from the slavery of emotions, procrastination, and reactivity. True freedom isn't doing what you want in the moment, it's doing what you've decided, even when you don't want to. Marcus Aurelius didn't rule the empire by inspiration. He did it through routine, duty, and daily action. Like him, you don't need to feel motivated to act, you just need commitment to what matters. Daily discipline creates autonomy. When you train your mind to act with clarity even when you don't feel like it, you stop relying on motivation, applause, or perfect conditions. You become unshakable because nothing affects you, but because nothing derails you. And the most powerful thing, great transformation comes from small, repeated actions. Writing 1 sentence a day becomes a book. Walking 10 minutes becomes health. Studying 20 minutes becomes expertise. All of this is possible with consistency, not perfection. You can apply this today with a simple Stoic routine. Morning, begin with intention. Ask, who do I want to be today? Write a sentence. I will focus on what is within my control. During the day, take reflective pauses. Before a difficult decision, stop for 10 seconds and ask, is this within my control? Evening, review the day. Grab a notebook and answer, what did I do well? Where could I have done better? What can I take with me into tomorrow? These habits don't require hours. 5 minutes of writing, a conscious pause, a moment of honesty. These are small but transformative actions. Seneca said, it's not lack of time, it's lack of will that holds us back. But will doesn't come from nowhere, it's exercised through discipline. And that's exactly why the Stoic doesn't wait for the right moment. He acts every day, even if it's just a little, because he knows whoever masters the now, masters the future, and that's the greatest freedom. And it exists because freedom isn't the absence of rules, it's living with purpose. It's choosing what matters every day without relying on emotions, without falling into autopilot. And that's exactly what discipline builds. Not slavery, but autonomy. Not rigidity, but strength. And the freedom to live with clarity, with courage, with integrity. Principle 4. The present is all you have. The past is gone. The future hasn't arrived yet. The only moment you can act, decide, and live is the present. And that's exactly where Stoicism focuses its attention. Living in the present isn't ignoring planning or learning from the past, it's not allowing them to steal your energy from the present. Most people suffer in anticipation or dwell on regrets, but the Stoic knows what matters is what you do right now. Marcus Aurelius wrote, every morning, start what you want to do now. Don't postpone life. He didn't wait for the perfect moment. He acted purposefully, here and now, because he knew time doesn't come back. The present is the only place where you have real power. It's where you choose to act calmly, where you decide not to react to provocation, where you take the first step, even when afraid. Seneca said, we don't have a short time, we live a short time. Time is stolen not by a lack of hours, but by distraction, anxiety, and autopilot. When you live in the present with intention, every action gains weight, every choice, meaning you can apply this today. When you wake up, instead of reaching for your phone, take a deep breath and say, I am here, now. When a worry about the future arises, ask, can I act on this now? If not, let it go. When regret arises, remember, it's over. Now is my chance to act wisely instead of inertially scrolling through your phone. Ask, is this aligned with who I want to be? The Stoic doesn't live on autopilot. He practices mindfulness with purpose, living in the now with clarity, without rushing, without distraction, with the awareness that each moment is a miniature life. And that's exactly what this principle teaches. You don't need to change the world to find peace. You just need to return to the only place you can live here, now with intention. Because true power isn't in controlling the future, it's in not letting it control you, and that only happens when you choose, in this moment, to act with courage, with justice, with moderation, because it's in the present that the future is built. It is in the now that the power to win without noise is born, with conscious action, without haste, without fuss, without delay. The ideal moment will not come tomorrow. It is here, and it is passing. Seize it. Principle 5. Failure is part of the path. A modern world fears failure. It treats it as a sign of weakness, as proof that you are not good enough. But Stoicism teaches the opposite. Failure is not the end, it is part of the path. Marcus Aurelius lost children, faced betrayal and ruled a collapsing empire, and yet, he wrote, the obstacle to progress becomes the path itself. For him, every difficulty was an opportunity to practice courage, justice, and patience. Failure did not invalidate your purpose, it tested your commitment to it. The Stoics did not see failure as defeat, but as information. What went wrong? What can I learn? How can I adjust without giving up? When you change this mindset, fear loses its power. You stop avoiding risks for fear of making mistakes and start acting courageously, because you understand that each mistake is a necessary step. Epictetus, born a slave, said, the wise man does not get lost, because he always has a direction. Even if he strays, he knows where he's going. Failure is not abandoning direction, it's adjusting the course. You can apply this today. If a project is rejected, don't give up, adjust and try again. If you make a mistake, ask, what can I learn from this, instead of why am I so bad? If you fail to fulfill a promise, don't punish yourself. Start over now. This mindset isn't about ignoring suffering, it's about the courage to continue. It's about knowing that true strength isn't in the absence of failures, but in the decision to continue. Seneca wrote, what stops us is not lack of time, but lack of courage to begin. And it's true, the world is not for those who never make mistakes, it is for those who act, even when afraid, and continue even after falling, because in the end, the greatest failure is not falling, it is never having started. And the Stoic knows, every mistake is a stepping stone towards true triumph. You don't have to always get it right, you just have to keep going, learn and move on, because in the end, the Stoic is not the one who never fails, it is the one who never gives up. And that is exactly what this principle teaches. Failure is not the end, it is preparation. It is a necessary part of the journey, and so it is. That's how you build an unshakable life, not with perfection, but with the courage to try, fail, and try again. Principle 6. Criticism doesn't define you. Have you ever felt shaken by criticism? A harsh comment, a rejection, a silence that feels like judgment. Stoicism brings profound liberation. Other people's opinions have no power over you unless you give them that power. Marcus Aurelius, surrounded by betrayal and envy, wrote, others say about me is none of my business, it's theirs. He didn't ignore criticism, he filtered it with reason. He asked, is it fair? Is it helpful? Is it aligned with the truth? If so, he learned. If not, he let it go. Epictetus taught it is not things that disturb men, but their opinions about things. In other words, it's not criticism that hurts you, it's believing it defines who you are. The Stoic doesn't react with anger, defensiveness, or suffering. He responds calmly, or simply moves on, because he understands that criticism says more about the person giving it than about himself. You can apply this today. Ask yourself, does this person live by the values I admire? If not, why would their opinion carry weight? If the criticism is fair, thank them and adjust. If it's unfair, let it go. Not out of arrogance, out of peace. Don't defend yourself, don't justify it, just keep going. True strength isn't in pleasing everyone, it's in acting with integrity, even when they're critical. And that's how you win, without fuss, without reacting, without justifying, without losing your center. Seneca said, it is unbearable to depend on the judgment of someone who doesn't even respect themselves. Think about it. Why are you handing over your emotional well-being to someone who doesn't even know your story? You don't need applause to know you're on the right path. Just look within and ask, am I being true to my values? If so, criticism doesn't define you, it only reveals who issued it. And that's exactly what this principle teaches. You don't need to prove anything, you just need to be true, even in silence, even when no one sees. Because in the end, what matters isn't what people say about you, it's what you know about yourself. And that's where true power lies. In the quiet coragetto, act with dignity, without depending on the approval of others. The Stoic knows your peace doesn't depend on applause, it depends on integrity, and no one can take that away from you. Principle 7. Simplicity brings clarity in today's world. We believe that more is better, more possessions, more options, more connections, more information. But Stoicism brings a liberating truth. True strength lies in simplicity. Living with less is not poverty, it is clarity. It is eliminating the superfluous so that the essential can breathe. When you reduce external noise, inner silence arises, and it is in this that focus, peace, and the ability to act with purpose are born. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the world, chose to live in moderation. His diary was unadorned, his choice is simple. He knew that the less he depended on external goods, the freer he was, because nothing can take away what you carry within your mind, your values, your discipline. Seneca, surrounded by wealth, wrote, "The wise man is not he who has much but he who needs little." He saw simplicity not as limitation but as strategic freedom. The less you need to feel good, the less vulnerable you are to circumstances. Simplicity is power because it reduces distractions and increases focus. It reduces anxiety caused by too many choices. It strengthens gratitude for what you already have. It frees up mental energy for what really matters. Acting with integrity, taking care of your mind, doing your duty. You can apply this today. Simplify your routine. Eliminate tasks that don't add value. Reduce consumption. Stop buying on impulse or validation. Limit distractions. Less social media, less news, less noise. Focus on the essentials. Health, family, purpose, action. The Stoic doesn't live to be seen. He lives to be faithful. And the simpler your life, the stronger it becomes. Simplicity isn't a lack of ambition. It's focus with purpose. It's refusing to get lost in details that don't matter. It's knowing that you don't need more to be who you want to be. Because power isn't in having everything, it's in knowing that you can live well with much less. And it's this independence that makes you unshakeable, free, and truly strong. And that's exactly what this principle teaches. Life isn't about accumulating. It's about choosing the aesthetic and letting go of the rest. Because it's in the silence of the necessary heart the mind finds clarity, focus, and strength. Live with less, act with more, and discover that simplicity is not renunciation, it's liberation. Principle 8. Courage is acting with fear. Courage is not the absence of fear, it's action despite. Fear, that's the definition, the most powerful Stoic expression of courage. Many believe that being brave means not feeling fear, but the Stoics know, fear is human. What separates the weak from the strong is not the absence of fear, but the decision to move forward despite it. Marcus Aurelius ruled a collapsing empire. Wars, plagues, betrayals, the death of children. In the midst of it all, he wrote, "Act even if it seems impossible." He didn't expect to feel brave. He chose to be brave every day. His strength came not from the absence of fear, but from clarity of purpose. Epictetus, born a slave with a crippled leg, taught that true courage lies in doing what is right, even when it is difficult. He had no external freedom, but he chose to maintain the freedom of the mind. And that for him was the greatest act of courage. The good news: you don't have to face war or prison to practice this courage. It's built day by day, in seemingly small but profound choices, telling the truth when it would be easier to lie, maintaining discipline when no one is looking, starting a new project, even with no guarantee of success, remaining calm in the face of unfair criticism. These are courageous actions because they require you to prioritize your values over your emotions. Stoicism doesn't demand perfection, it demands commitment. Every time you act with integrity, even when afraid, you strengthen your courage like a muscle, Seneca said. What holds us back is not lack of time, but lack of courage to begin. And it's true, the world isn't for those who have less fear. It's for those who act, even when they are afraid. You can develop practical courage today. Start something important, even with the inner voice telling you it's not the time. Resist the temptation to procrastinate. Speak your feelings, even when you're afraid of the reaction. Accept that discomfort is part of growth, so don't expect to feel invincible. Start where you are with what you have, with the fear you feel, and with the simple but powerful decision not to let it decide for you. Because that's how you build a purposeful life. Not when everything is right, but when you act, even when everything seems wrong. Courage isn't a born trait, it's a daily choice. And this principle teaches, you don't have to be free from fear to be free from inaction. Act now, afraid, but act. Principle 9. Patience is a weapon in today's world. We want everything fast, immediate success, recognition, quick results. But Stoicism teaches an inconvenient lesson. True transformation takes time, and patience isn't passivity, it's a silent and powerful weapon. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire at war, faced plague, betrayal, and profound losses. Even so, he maintained calm, clarity, and a commitment to the long term. He knew great changes don't happen in days, but in daily decisions, repeated with discipline. And that's exactly what patience allows, to continue, even without seeing the results right away. The Stoics didn't believe in shortcuts, they believed in process. Epictetus taught, don't rush, don't despair, follow the path steadfastly. He knew that the man who chases the result loses his way, but the man who trusts the process moves forward calmly, unwavering. Patience is strength, because it protects you from premature frustration, allows you to learn from each mistake, prevents impulsive decisions out of impatience, and strengthens your trust in time. Seneca said, "Nature does nothing in haste. A grain of wheat grows slowly into a grain of wheat, such as greatness, your growth, your transformation, your legacy. All of this is like a seed, invisible at first, but inevitable over time. You can apply this today. Don't give up a habit because you don't see results yet. Don't abandon a project because recognition is slow. Don't doubt the path just because progress is slow. Instead of asking, when will this work? Ask, what can I do today to keep going?" Patience is not weakness, it's the courage to trusting your path. Even when the world demands haste, you don't need to see results. Today you just need to act consistently. Write a paragraph, make a difficult choice, maintain discipline when no one is looking. Every action, no matter how small, is a brick in your future, and patience is the cement that holds them together. Because the Stoic doesn't win by explosion, he wins by persistence, not by speed, but by direction. And that's how you build something lasting, without haste, without noise, without giving up. Seneca wrote, "It's not what we have, but what we do with what we have, that defines us." And that's exactly it. You don't need more to get started, you just need to keep going. And that's why patience is a weapon. It doesn't shine in the present, but changes the future. And whoever gives it Omina, no need to shout, just keep going. Because, in the end, what separates those who change from those who remain is not talent, nor the right moment, it's the ability to trust the process. Day after day, calmly, courageously, patiently. Principle 10. Loyalty to oneself is the greatest sign of character. The greatest sign of character is not what you do when you're seen, but what you do when no one is looking. In today's world, many adjust their actions to the audience. They say one thing in public, live another in private. But Stoicism demands something rarer and more powerful: loyalty to oneself. Acting with integrity even without applause, even without witnesses, even when it would be easier to betray your values. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his diary, "Without expectation of fame, do what is right, not what is expedient." He ruled an empire, but he knew that true victory was internal, being true to his principles. Even when tired, even when under pressure, even when ignored. Epictetus said, "Be what you wish to appear." In other words, don't feign courage, be courageous, don't feign discipline. Practice it in silence, don't seek admiration, seek integrity. This loyalty is the foundation of character, because when you act well just because you're observed, your virtue depends on the world. But when you act well even in the dark, your virtue comes from within, and it is unshakable. You demonstrate loyalty to yourself when you keep a promise to yourself, even when you don't have to. You refuse a distraction, even when no one would notice. You tell the truth, even if a lie would be easier. You continue, even when no one recognizes your effort. These choices, invisible to others, are what build your inner strength. They prove that you don't live to please, you live to honor who you've chosen to be. Seneca wrote, "The wise man needs no witnesses. His conscience is his judge." And that's precisely what makes you immune to judgment, independent of approval, and truly free. Being accountable to yourself is the most powerful act of self-improvement, not out of pride, but out of integrity. You review the day and ask, what did I do well? Where could I have done better? Am I aligned with who I want to be? This daily practice isn't harsh judgment, it's courageous responsibility. Every time you choose truth over convenience, you strengthen your self-esteem and your emotional peace, because in the end, what matters isn't what the world thinks of you, it's what you know about yourself. And that's where true power lies. In the quiet carrigetto, be faithful. Without fuss, without reward, without excuses. Loyalty to oneself is not arrogance, it's dignity. It's the mark of those who succeed not by applause, but by character. And that's how a silent legacy is built, with small actions, done with greatness, every day, in secret, until time says, you were here, and changed everything. Stoic morning routine. Self-improvement doesn't happen by accident. It's built day after day with small, conscious choices. Just as an athlete trains the body, the Stoic trains the mind. And the best way to start is with a simple, practical, and powerful morning routine, inspired by the teachings of Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca. This routine doesn't require free time, absolute silence, or a secluded lifestyle. It works even in the hustle and bustle of everyday life. What matters is intention and consistency. 1. Wake up with purpose. 5-10 minutes. Don't start the day reacting to your phone, the news, or messages. Start with a question. Who do I want to be today? What values will guide my choices? How will I respond if I face difficulties? Write a clear intention today. I will focus on what's in my control. Today I will not react with anger. Today I will take an important step even if I'm not sure. This morning ritual isn't magic, it's mental programming for conscious action. It creates an invisible shield against anxiety and reactivity. 2. Reflective pauses throughout the day. 30 seconds to 2 minutes. You don't need long meditations. Just brief moments of pause are enough to realign yourself. Before a difficult meeting, when you feel frustrated, or when you find yourself scrolling through your phone out of insecurity, Stop for 10 seconds and ask yourself, is this within my control? Am I acting based on values or emotions? What would a Stoic do now? These pauses are like small adjustments to the ship's rudder. They keep you from veering off course without realizing it. 3. Practical integration throughout the day. Use Stoic phrases as anchors when facing criticism. Criticism that doesn't define you. When procrastinating, action comes before motivation. When feeling fear, courage is acting with fear. Repeat mentally. Write it down. Record it on a notepad. Repetition turns principles into habits. This morning routine isn't about perfection. It's about preparation. It's about starting the day with clarity, not reactivity. It's about remembering, before the world pulls you out, who you've decided to be inside. And that's how you build an unshakable mind, not with grand gestures, but with small choices made every day, with purpose, because the Stoic doesn't wait for the right moment. He creates the right moment with a breath, an intention, and the decision to start the day not as a reaction, but as an action. Stoic nighttime routine. The day doesn't end when you go to bed. It ends when you review, learn, and reconcile with it. The Stoic nighttime routine is one of the most powerful habits for self-improvement. The daily review, practiced by Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus. This practice isn't a harsh judgment, but a moment of honesty, learning, and compassion for yourself. Before bed, set aside 5 to 10 minutes away from your cell phone, in silence, with a notebook or notepad. And answer honestly. 1. What did I do well today? Acknowledge your victories, no matter how small. Did you wake up on time? Did you stay calm during a difficult moment? Did you make a decision that aligned with your values? Celebrating progress strengthens self-esteem and reinforces what you want to repeat. 2. Where could I have acted with more integrity? Not to punish yourself, but to improve. Did I react angrily when I could have responded calmly? Did I put off something important out of fear? Did I fail to act due to a lack of courage? This question doesn't seek perfection, it seeks awareness. 3. What did I learn today? Every day is a lesson. Even mistakes teach. Even frustrations reveal patterns. Note, today I learned that I need to breathe before responding. Or I realized that I demand too much of myself when I'm tired. This habit transforms experiences into wisdom. 4. What will I take with me tomorrow? An adjustment, an intention, a commitment. Tomorrow I will tell the truth with more courage. Tomorrow I will not postpone the difficult task. Tomorrow I will remember that what matters is within my control. Seneca practiced this religiously. He said, live as if you were facing yourself, not to punish yourself, but to know yourself, to be accountable not to the world, but to your own conscience. This practice accelerates self-improvement because it corrects deviations before they become habits. It strengthens self-mastery. It transforms the day into a cycle of continuous learning. And most importantly, it teaches you to forgive yourself with dignity. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be faithful. And every night is a new chance to say, today wasn't perfect, but it was honest, and tomorrow I'll keep trying. Because the Stoic doesn't measure the day by what he failed, but by what he learned. And that's how you build a purposeful life, with conscious actions, honest review, and the courage to start over every day. Premeditatio malorum. How to anticipate the worst. To lose your fear. At the heart of Stoicism lies a powerful, counterintuitive, yet profoundly liberating practice. Premeditatio malorum, the rational anticipation of the worst. It's not pessimism. It's not giving in to fear. It's the opposite. It's looking squarely at what you fear most, with clarity, and saying, what if it happens? What would I do? The Stoics knew that fear doesn't come from what might happen, it comes from our reaction to it. And the greatest source of anxiety is the unknown. When you imagine the worst without reflection, your mind amplifies it. But when you face it with reason, it loses its power to paralyze you. Marcus Aurelius, amidst wars and disease, wrote, in the morning remember, today I may face betrayal, ingratitude, aggression, and yet I will choose to act justly. He didn't run from fear, he prepared for it. This practice works because it disarms the emotional impact. When you clearly imagine, what if I'm rejected? What if my project fails? What if I lose my job? And calmly respond, if I'm rejected, I learn and move on. If I fail, I adjust and try again. If I lose my job, I reinvent myself. You discover you would survive, and what's more, you would already have a plan. It's like training for a storm before it arrives. You don't avoid the rain, but you stop being surprised by it. Epictetus said, the wise man does not wait for ideal conditions. He prepares for the real ones. And that's exactly what premeditatio malorum does. It transforms fear into preparation, anxiety into clarity, and paralysis into conscious action. You can apply this today. Before an important decision, ask yourself, what's the worst that can happen? Can I bear it? What would I do if it happened? By responding calmly, you don't eliminate the risk, but you eliminate the suffering in advance. Because true power isn't in controlling the future, it's in not letting it control you. And that's how you become immune to fear. Seneca wrote, he who has anticipated all misfortunes has already suffered everything. The rest is easy. because when the worst has already been imagined, nothing takes you by surprise, and you can move forward with courage, knowing that no matter what comes, you are already prepared. Premeditatio malorum is not about fearing the future, it's about mastering it with your mind before it arrives with the world. The power of elegant indifference in today's world. We are trained to react to everything, a criticism, an absent comment, a comparison on social media, but Stoicism teaches a quiet strength, elegant indifference not as contempt, but as dignity in action. Indifference in the Stoic sense is not coldness or arrogance, it is emotional freedom. It is knowing that not every voice deserves to reside in your mind. It is choosing not to enter into chaos, even when it is provoked. Marcus Aurelius, surrounded by betrayal and envy, wrote, "What doesn't make us better shouldn't move us." If criticism doesn't contribute to your justice, courage, or integrity, why give it power? Epictetus said, "If someone says you're wicked, that doesn't make you wicked, it makes you wicked." In other words, the judgment belongs to the one who issues it. You just need to decide whether to bear it. Elegant indifference is practical. You hear unfair criticism and don't respond with another. Someone tries to provoke you and you calmly change the subject. You don't receive the recognition you expected and you keep moving forward. It's not escape. It's emotional discipline. It's understanding that your peace is more important than the need to be right. It's not rude, it's serene. It doesn't ignore the world, but chooses not to be dominated by it. It's the silence of the warrior who doesn't. You need to prove his strength. You can apply this today. When you receive a harsh comment, take a deep breath and move on. When you're ignored, don't panic. Continue with your mission. When you see someone showing off to get attention, remember, my worth doesn't depend on this. Seneca wrote, "The wise man doesn't defend himself, he is unassailable." Because those who act with integrity, even in silence, don't give power to attack. Elegant indifference isn't ignoring everything, it's filtering with reason. Ask, does this person live by the values I admire? Do they have the moral authority to judge me? Will this matter a year from now? If the answer is no, let it go, not out of arrogance, out of peace, because true power isn't in pleasing everyone, it's in acting, even when they're critical. And that's how you win without noise, by not responding to the noise, but by living with such clarity that it doesn't even reach you. And that's exactly what this principle teaches. You don't need to prove you're strong, you just need to know. You are and follow through without reaction, without justification, with dignity, because those who truly have power don't shout, stay silent and continue. Self-improvement is a path, not a destination. The biggest mistake many make on the path to self-improvement, confusing evolution with perfection. They believe it will only be worthwhile when everything is in place, an ideal body, a calm mind, a prosperous career, an organized life. But Stoicism brings a liberating truth. Self-improvement is not is a daily journey. Marcus Aurelius didn't become a wise man through a single heroic gesture. He transformed himself through small, disciplined choices, writing every day, reviewing his actions, acting justly, even when no one was watching. He didn't expect to become perfect. He expected to be better today than yesterday. Stoicism doesn't demand perfection. It demands progress, because true transformation doesn't happen in leaps and bounds, but in silent, consistent steps, invisible to others. Have you ever blamed yourself for not changing enough? Have you ever given up on a habit because you didn't see quick results? This happens when you measure the value of the day solely by the outcome. But the Stoic measures it by effort, by intention, by the courage to try again. Seneca wrote, "It is not what we have, but what we do with what we have, that defines us." You don't need to be at the top to be on the path, you just need to keep going. Write a sentence, get out of bed, resist distraction, apologize, start over. These actions don't seem like big things, but they're the ones that build character. Because the Stoic knows, it's not what you achieve that shows who you are, it's how you act when everything weighs on you. You can apply this today instead of judging your day by failures. Ask, where have I progressed? Celebrate the effort, not just the result. See each mistake as part of the process, not as proof of failure. Tell yourself, I'm not perfect, I'm faithful. Epictetus, born a slave, said the wise man never loses his way, because he always has a direction. He knew that deviation doesn't cancel the path, and that true success isn't about never falling. It's about always getting up, and that's exactly it. What this principle teaches, self-improvement doesn't end. It is renewed every morning, every choice, every decision to move forward, even tired, even afraid, even without applause, because in the end, you won't be remembered for having arrived perfectly. You will be remembered for having moved forward with courage. And that's how you build an unshakable life, not with perfection, but with constant progress, with quiet dignity, with a simple but powerful decision. I'm still on the path. Start today. With what you have, you've just discovered the Stoic principles and practices for true self-improvement, focusing on what you control, acting courageously, living in the present, reviewing the day, anticipating the worst, and moving forward with discipline, even without motivation. But none of these principles change your life simply by knowing them. They only work when put into practice. Self-improvement doesn't begin with a new year, a new plan, or a perfect moment. It begins with a simple choice, made today. Choose a practice, just one. Morning intention, nightly review, or simply take action, even if you don't feel like it, and put it into practice now. Don't wait, don't demand perfection from yourself, just start. Small actions, repeated consistently, build a strong mind, an unshakable character, and a life of purpose. If this content resonated with you, like it, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to the channel for more videos on inner strength, mental clarity, and living wisely. Because the definitive guide to self-improvement isn't about knowing more. It's about starting today with what you have, where you are, with courage.